What's going on YouTube? It's Adam from Beyond the Grid. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, thanks for stopping by. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be going over how to create a bright yet moody look that influencers are all after that's going to enhance your tan naturally.
But if you close your eyes.
So this tutorial is going to be inspired by my newest collection, Into the Light, that is available on my Selfie store. This collection includes 10 presets that are both mobile and desktop, depending on which one you pick up, that is designed to keep that consistent look across an array of your photos. So I'm going to boot up my Lightroom app and let's get into this tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to create this look yourself. Okay, so now that we're in the app, what we're going to do is we're going to start in the basic panel, which is going to be your light panel. We're going to leave the exposure for now. We might come back and adjust it later. But what we're going to do is we're going to decrease our contrast just a tiny bit. Our highlights, we're going to drop this down just a minor bit, maybe 3 or 4. Our shadows, we're going to raise this up to, let's say, I like plus 74. Our whites, we're going to jump this up to, let's say, plus 46. And our blacks, we're going to bring back the contrast by bringing this down to, let's say, minus 75. The next panel we're going to go into is our our color panel. This one we're going to bring up the warmth and actually drop it down to minus 2. Our tint, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring it over to the green a little bit. Let's say minus 2 as well. Our vibrancy, we're going to bring this up to, let's say, plus 15 looks pretty good. And our saturation, we're going to drop this down, let's say 28. Now the photo looks horrible. Don't get me wrong here. But the reason why we're dropping the saturation is because we're going to bring back certain colors in the color panel. So let's jump into that really quickly. Click on the mix, and we're going to start with the red. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the hue as 0. Our saturation, we're going to bring that right down and drop all of it. And our luminancy, we're going to bring that up to, let's say, about plus 54 looks pretty good. Our oranges, we're going to bring this up to about a plus 6. Our saturation, we're going to bring this right up, let's say about a 78. And our luminancy, let's bring this down to about a minus 11. So by dropping the luminancy, what it's going to do is going to create a darker tan look. And by bringing up the saturation, we're bringing more of the oranges, less of the reds. So let's jump into our yellow. We're going to bring this down to about minus 33. Saturation, we're going to bring it back just a little bit, let's say plus 8. And our luminancy, we're going to make this just a little bit up. Our greens, we're going to leave the hue at 0. We're going to drop our saturation down quite a bit because we don't want too many greens. Even though we added it back up in the tint, we want to try to get rid of them here. Our luminancy, we're going to drop this down to, let's say, minus 28 looks pretty good. Our aquas, we're going to leave our hue. We're going to drop our saturation down. Let's say about a minus 47 looks pretty good. And our luminancy, we're going to bring this right up to, let's say, about a plus 48. And then our blues, we're going to leave our hue. And we're also going to leave the luminance in this one because I like how her hat looks. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the saturation down and just kind of make that faded blue look in her hat. Kind of looks really good there. Our purples, we're going to bring this up a little bit, say about a plus 20. Let's go with a plus 23. Our saturation, let's drop this down to about a minus 32. And our luminancy, we're going to leave that. And then our magentas, we're going to drop our saturation down to about a minus 27. And you know what, let's bring the hue up a little bit. Let's bring it up to about a plus 15. So there's your before so far, and there's your after. It looks not bad, but it's nothing that I would post yet. So we're gonna go into our highlights. So let's go over to our effects and our split tone here. So we're gonna change the first one. We're gonna make it, let's make the hue a little bit redder, so about 43. And then our saturation, let's bring that down. Say about there. That looks pretty good. Let's bring our saturation down just a little bit more. Right about there looks pretty good. So hue's 44 and our saturation's 15 on our highlights. Our shadows, we're gonna put a little bit of aqua into this one. So we're gonna go with a hue around 200-ish. So let's go about 212. And our saturation, let's bring this right down. So it's just a little bit. So let's say 214 and 216. And then we're also gonna bring our balance towards the highlights just a little bit. So let's say about 32 looks pretty good. So again, there's your before on this one and there's your after. So again, it looks pretty good, but I mean, we could do it a little bit more. So the next area I want to go to is your clarity. So this one here, we're gonna make it a little bit softer just because it is a person and I like to create that soft look when I'm dealing with people. Our dehaze, we're gonna leave a little bit. We could create a little bit of vignetting on it just to kind of focus you to her. And our dehaze, yeah, we'll leave that for now. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, we could play with it a little bit, but we won't. And then what we'll do is we'll come back over to our light and we'll come over to our curve panel. And if you guys don't know about the curve panel, click on the link above. It'll show you guys how to use your curves a little bit, and hopefully you guys can learn something from that. So let's jump over to our curve and let's create some points here. So we're gonna create one right about here. We're gonna raise that up. We're gonna create one right about here, drop that down a little bit. And then we're gonna create one about here, just bring that back to normal. Then we're gonna come over to our red. We're gonna bring this down just a tiny, tiny bit, just barely anything. You guys probably don't even notice me changing it too much. Then we'll go over to our green. And again, same thing, just a little tiny, 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 tiny bit. Just about nothing. And then our blue, same thing, just barely move it, just tiny, tiny bit. And then we can come over here and you guys can see the fluctuation over here. So you can come in here and just adjust just a little bit there. And that looks pretty good to me. So that's your before and that's your after. But to me, it's got a little tiny bit too much red. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back into our color panel and we're just gonna bump this guy down a little bit. Actually, let's leave that there. Let's go back over to our light, go back to our curve, go back to our red, and let's bump this down a little tiny bit more. That looks really good to me. So that's your before and that's your after. So as you guys can see, it's not that hard to create this look, but the hard part is keeping it consistent across an array of your photos. So like I said at the beginning of this tutorial, I do have a collection that is available and is for sale, and I'll leave a link down below. So if you guys have a photo like this and you guys want to create something out of it, all you have to do is go to your preset tab, which is located over here, scroll down, find your Into the Light collection, and you can click on them and it'll literally change your photos. So here's a before and here's an after. So let's say you have a photo that looks more like, let's say something like this, where it looks very beachy and you're really outdoors and you want to create that tan look, but also create that bright, vibrant look. Well, again, you come over to your preset collection, go down to your Into the Lights, and you literally just click on them and find something that looks good. And I think, honestly, I think that one looks really good. So if you guys want to pick that up, I'll leave a link in the description. If you guys want to pick up this preset for free, I will be giving that away. All you have to do is click on the link below the sale page, and yeah, that's it. So I hope this tutorial was helpful to you guys. If it was, make sure you guys are hitting that like button below. If you guys are not a subscriber, I mean, why aren't you? Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell as well, and you guys will get notified about my next tutorials, some of my videos, and some of my giveaways. If you guys are not subscribed to me on Instagram, go ahead and do that because I do tons of giveaways via that. My Instagram is Adam_BeyondTheGrid. But that's it for this tutorial. So until the next one, take care, everybody.